என்ன சமையலோ என்ன சமையலோ.
Vanakkam and welcome to another episode on What's Cooking. We're going to watch our master chef make one of the most important, difficult to make dessert from India. Let's welcome Mr. Govind Balur.
Thank you, Nanda.
We've heard a lot about your sweet making ceremonies and how ritually you do it. And you call it therapy, like it's therapeutic to you.
That's correct.
Let's talk about your sweet making experience in general before we get to our special dessert today.
Well, sweet making is something in my blood. Since I was a little child, I've been watching my dad used to make, and we used to sell sweets in a very small shop in Mangalore. It started as a little hole in the wall, and now it's a pretty big business. So watching and looking at what Dad used to do when I was actually maybe 5-6 years old, I never learned anything. I just watched it. But it's like they say, it's always in your blood. So when I came to this country, which is almost 53 years ago, 1967, 68, my friends wanted to eat some sweets. So I tried. Guess what? It came out okay. Didn't come out as good. It's like trial and error method, by proportions, and also getting the right ingredients. But Mysore Pak is the sweet, probably easiest sweets to make, at the same time more difficult in the sense it never comes out right.
Wow.
When my dad used to make Mysore Pak, he used to close the door of a little shed we had. He didn't want any outside people or workers to look at it because it's a tricky sweet. He didn't want to give his secret to anybody else. Whereas I could stay there and watch, but he could never explain to me why and what temperature or nothing, just by watching. So it's a difficult sweet, but if you have the right tools, a batch of Mysore Pak, about 50 pieces, takes only 12 minutes to make.
Wow.
Yeah, 12. Have things ready, exactly 12 minutes. Mysore Pak should be ready. So Mysore Pak could be, if it is not right, it can sit down and become like a hard barfi.
Okay.
Or if you cook it more, it can be very dark and it can burn. And you will never get those porous holes in the middle of the piece. That's the trick. When you pour the Mysore Pak in a pan, it has to rise up and it has to stay there.
Okay.
A lot of people say it rises up and then goes down. See, the staying up is the trick. You have to have the right chickpea flour, and the one I use is Swad brand or a Lakshmi brand. Never use a laddu besan, which is a very coarse. You need a very fine besan. And of course, the sugar, saffron, cardamom. Ghee is the one many times people use in India, but the problem with making 100% ghee is ghee smokes when it starts heating up. In other words, ghee starts burning. So we use mostly half ghee and half Crisco or dalda. So, but you can fry the besan with the ghee, but never use 100% ghee because it starts smoking. The temperature has to be very high, and people do use it, but I will not recommend it because usually it doesn't come out right. So you always mix half Crisco and half ghee. It's a simple, easy sweet to make, but also at the same time very difficult to get to the right Mysore Pak.
Okay.
But again, Mysore Paks, if you go more to the north, it becomes different than the typical our South Indian Mysore Pak.
That's true.
Okay, if you go north, you get like a flat, maybe an inch thick. But our Mysore Pak usually about couple inches thick.
Yeah. And it's porous too.
It's porous. The up in north, it's not as much porous.
I had a neighbor when I was a kid, and she must have been 3 years old at that time. And for Deepavali, we made Mysore Pak and we served it to they are Anglo Indians. We served it to them, and this little girl next morning came and asked, "Can I have some more of your Mysore Pak?"
Sopak.
Your Mysore Pak.
Your
I said, your Mysore Pak. What is that? You said it's Mysore Pak. She thought it's Mysore Pak.
Oh, my.
So she said, "Can I have your Mysore Pak?"
Your Sopak. Mysore Pak. Your Sopak. Oh, good.
So let's get cooking, and before we start, let's see what ingredients we will need.
The ingredients are the pan. The pan I'll be using is like a meatloaf here, they call. It's 8 inches by 3 inches and about 2.5 inches deep. So for this pan, you need 2 cups of besan, the measuring cups,
Okay.
not the 2 full cups, 2 flat cups of besan, and then you need 2.5 cups of sugar,
Okay.
just the plain sugar. Then you need a lot of Crisco, ghee, whatever it takes, because there's no amount, because you need to have more Crisco and ghee heating, because when you start making the Mysore Pak, at one point it tells you enough. So you cannot say put your finger and test whether it's done. At one point it tells you, and I'll also tell you when it is. You need to look for that spot, that particular time, and it will not take any more ghee.
Okay.
Then that's the time to pour it.
Wow. So Mysore Pak talks to you and tells me, "Lift me up, I'm done."
Mysore Pak tells you when it is enough. I had enough of this. Come on, put me to rest. So,
Okay, let's get started. Dry roasting it, or
yeah, well, we put a little bit of ghee for this, and you have to fry the besan real good, because otherwise besan will have that raw taste, raw smell, if you don't fry it enough. The way it is fried was somebody somewhere in the house needs to come and say, "Man, something smells good." That means it is fried. So otherwise it's not done yet. When you tell me you're smelling something good, that means it is done. But besan can burn quickly, so you have to keep moving it. That way it's
apart from the smell, is there a specific color to look for?
Well, it doesn't change the color like darker or something, because the darker means it's getting burned. You don't want that. You just want to make sure that it's no lumps. It's all nicely, like you can see, nicely powdered. And of course the smell. So I can now start smelling it, but we want to roast it a little bit more, because otherwise you get the raw smell of the besan.
And on this side you have crystal and oil.
This is the ghee and about one third ghee and 2/3 Crisco or dalda.
Okay.
So the besan is done. So what we're going to do is put this off and then transfer the besan. To this you put the cardamom. Yeah, it's a coarse grounded, coarse ground, not the. I never buy the store powder.
Okay.
I always get the fresh one and put it on it, kind of coarse. So we just put very little water. Now this is the sugar I was talking about two and a half cup. So now
Half cup water and
about half a cup or less, little less than half a cup. Okay, and then you make sure it is boiling nicely.
does the sugar have any color or?
Well, I put a little bit of saffron.
Saffron.
Yeah, that's the saffron color actually. So, yeah, I'm trying to get the. See, at the same time, this is getting hot. Now, the problem here is you can't have this too hot because it will start burning it. So this is like I said, it's a tricky sweet. Once you start making it, within 3-4 minutes,
Okay.
I think this flame is, it's okay. It's slowly started now. Once the sugar is ready, then you need a very slower flame. See, now the sugar start boiling, and I will show you at which point the sugar is ready. Again, look at I just go by the bubbles. Okay. Now there are a lot of big bubbles. Now it is telling me the sugar may be almost ready. Let me just check it. It's not quite ready yet. Yeah, it is. When you check it, it has to be very kind of well done sugar.
Okay.
In the sense, so I just switched the. Now we need sugar has to be very kind of well. I'll show you in a minute. It's not quite ready yet. See, it has to be very sticky. Okay, now it looks like the sugar is almost ready, because you can tell by it was giving bigger bubbles. Now the bubbles are getting smaller. That means it's done. So sugar is ready. So I'm going to pour this roasted besan in this, and then now you keep just mixing it. So what I'm doing is keep mixing it till I see that it's getting a little bit thicker. Now it's like a little liquidy. So okay, now the time has come to start putting some of my usually okay, see how it is? Just to start pouring it. Usually they have two people, one to pour, one to mix. Okay, it's almost ready. It has to stay up. Can you put that off? See, it has come and it's kind of settling down right there. Mm-hmm. See, once you pour it, remember I told you it came up.
Yeah.
And it stood there. So now you will get all those porous holes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We would let this sit maybe for no more than 5 to 7 minutes. Then you should start cutting it, because otherwise it won't get hard, mm-hmm. but you don't want it to real hard. And this is the knife. It's not a knife. It's a plate. My dad had it.
Wow.
Which is probably 80 years old. I mean, when I came here, one day I asked him, "Can I take that with me?" And so he gave me this. So this is what he used to do to cut the. It is it's a man-made. so it's okay. I think we're going to slowly start cutting it now. So.
And you can hear that chorus sound too.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell it came out pretty good, very good. Well, it all depending on the timing. At one point, it won't take any more ghee.
Okay.
So that means it is done. So, yeah, so it goes down so nicely and you can hear the noise.
Yes. Let's see how the angle looks like. Yeah, perfect. Wow. Okay.
So what we'll do is we'll just stick the right in the middle, and you will see the color. Where's the camera? There.
Yeah, that's the camera.
So you can see the color, which is well, it's not too bad. I would say probably a 5 to 10%, a little bit well done, and it's mainly because the temperature control of the ghee and the Crisco, it was probably a little too hot. So all you now you do is, but this is our typical South Indian or a Mangalorean
Mysore Pak would look like.
Mysore Pak, because yeah, it's porous inside. Oops. Yeah, you can see the holes. See the holes inside. So here it is, Nandu, you got your Mysore Pak done. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate